everybody's out there either.
Hey Derek, man, thanks for coming out. We met several days ago, maybe a little bit more than a week, and we hit it off because you and I are both from Charlotte. If you don't mind, tell the audience a little bit about yourself. What's your story? Where you're from, how long you've been an expat, and what countries have you lived in?
Yeah, well, first and foremost, thanks for having me. Really appreciate that. I left the U.S. in October 2022, and I was at the time living in Smyrna, Georgia. I'm originally from Buffalo, New York. Moved down to Charlotte, spent a lot of time there, and that's where we both lived. And then I moved down to Georgia. So yeah, October 2022, I moved to Panama City, Panama. But before I moved, I had visited about 4 times. My lease in Smyrna was coming to an end. And I said, you know what, I can go this way and pay $2,000 a month for a small studio in Georgia, or I can go to Panama for a new life, a new experience. And so I chose that. It's like one of the best moves I ever made, man, hands down. So Panama City, Panama was the first one. And then I lived in Medellin, Colombia, Lima, Peru. And now I'm here in Southeast Asia.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm in Vietnam now, and did some little time in Thailand also. So now I'm enjoying this side of the world now.
Oh, shit.
Oh, that damn wind is like.
So you've been a traveler since 2022 now. What do you think are some of the challenges you face as a traveler?
I would say number one is always the language barrier.
Yeah.
So, I spent a lot of time in South America, Central America. So I realized very, very soon that I had to learn Spanish. I started practicing shortly after I got to Panama. I still do to this day, every day, Duolingo. I'm gonna probably do an online class with a lady in Colombia. I did one with her before in Panama, but I'm gonna do another online class with her pretty soon, just to keep it fresh. But the language is always a challenge. Here in Vietnam, same deal. You go to certain restaurants, certain places, and you just can't really communicate or even express yourself how you really want to. Southeast Asia, being here, now the time zone difference is a challenge because I'm trying to work online, and for me, I'm starting out at about 8:30, 9 p.m. starting work being in Southeast Asia. So if I work for, let's say, 4 hours, that puts me till 1 in the morning. So it's
right.
So I would say language here in Southeast Asia, time zone. And then just being honest, hey, sometimes you get lonely. I mean, it's just part of I'm traveling solo. So that's why it's great to meet, when you meet really good people like yourself and you can really talk and connect. But if you don't, or if you come to a place and it's your first day, you start over again.
Right.
Zero connections. And so I would say just those top 3 things. Yeah, just that. Yeah.
I mean, as a traveler, solo traveler, you have to get used to being alone, or you're either leaving or they're leaving. What's a pro as a traveler that you have that you wouldn't have if you were back home in your home country?
Number one, cost of living. Back home in the U.S., we all know prices have skyrocketed. I know even when I got my first apartment when I was a little younger, I'll never forget, I paid $530 for a 1-bedroom apartment in Charlotte. South Charlotte, man, had a $530 for a 1-bedroom apartment. But this is like 2009.
Okay.
It was a good, safe neighborhood. It was pretty nice place. Right. But now, just traveling, everywhere you go, it's so much cheaper than it is back home.
Right.
So, cost of living, your food, try to live a healthy lifestyle, and the food is fresher anywhere else but the U.S. So you get fruit with seeds, no seedless fruit. So I feel like just the cost of living, and then just being able to maintain a healthier lifestyle is better. I tend to walk a whole lot more being here.
That's true.
No, I don't have a car. Right. So I'm walking so much more. I'm getting 10,000 steps in each time I go out for a walk. So I wasn't doing any of that back home.
I think you brought up the food thing that's really interesting in terms of eating healthy. We certainly can eat healthy in the U.S., but I think it can be cost prohibitive, be more expensive. And here, healthier eating is just cheaper, so it makes it easier. Pizzas, and that's good here too.
Oh, yeah.
But some of the other options, healthier options, are also tasty. And very cheap, very affordable.
Very affordable.
Oh yeah, relative to the U.S. Average monthly expenses, maybe in Panama, and how are you able to afford that?
You know, I'm doing Airbnb when I bounce around. So now in Panama, I actually had so the first year I was there, I had a rental and I did a 1-year lease there. At that time, I was paying $1,200 per month, but that same place anywhere in the US would have easily been north of $2,000.
Wow.
$2,500 maybe.
Okay.
You know, floor to ceiling windows, 2 levels, bedroom up top, overlooking the downstairs. I mean, you know, not 360 views, but like 180
Right,
of the city.
Nice, really.
You know, and 24-hour security, $1,200 at that point, but since then, doing Airbnbs, I'm averaging $700 and like $900 per month. Food costs, you know, I can't cook, but you know, I retired my spatula. So, eat out every day. I'm averaging maybe about $15 a day, give or take. About $15 per day, yeah.
Gotcha. I think that sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
And how are you able to afford that? You said you work online. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Past investments support my lifestyle now, and then to keep busy. I worked for Wells Fargo for about 5 years in the States, so I kind of fell in love with the stock market during that time at Wells Fargo. So to this day, I still enjoy doing some stock option trading, some futures trading. To keep me busy. It keeps me something to do every day, and also it's a good source of just continuous income.
So you've been traveling a lot, and during that time, and during the last 3 years or so, what do you think you've learned about yourself or about life in general as a traveler?
I think you get to a point to where you know, in the U.S., so many things matter, and so many things matter when you're there, and then you move and when you travel and you live abroad, you realize how many things don't matter.
Right.
It's just like when I first left to go to Panama, had too many clothes, 5 pairs of sneakers and shoes. And it's like you think you need this and need that. And then now, being 3 years in, I'm a minimalist now. I've got just a few pairs of pants, a few shirts, cut down on my luggage considerably. There's no need to, no one cares about what you wear. No one cares about what you drive. It's just so much more, you just learn to live on less. How important it is to step outside of that comfort zone.
Yeah.
I think so many of us stay in it in the States and we just don't know what's possible. But when you push yourself to be around a different culture, learn a new language, when you're uncomfortable, it brings growth. I feel like it. So I feel like I've just been able to grow and just
and it's not
it,
something we could read about and take in. Like, we can all kind of intellectualize, like, oh, you know what, we should be living off of less, or be a little more of a minimalist, or we don't need the 12 pair of sneakers or whatever it is that you're into. But we're not going to know that until we make the move, though, right?
Until you make the leap, yeah. Just realize, when you meet people in other countries, everyone is enjoying life more instead of trying to portray that they're doing well, or there's no reason to portray anything when you leave the U.S. It's just be yourself.
So what are some worries that you had before traveling, or even during traveling, that you found to be false or at least exaggerated, and how do you mitigate those concerns?
In the U.S., we watch our movies and TV shows, and you get a certain perspective of other countries just from the media.
Right.
And I quickly realized that even being in Colombia, Panama, South America, I felt safe personally. But you hear the stories, you see the movies, you watch Taken. You think like, oh man, I'm gonna go somewhere.
Liam Neeson messed it up for us.
I got to turn into Liam Neeson, on somebody real quick. But you quickly realize, like, no one's, more than likely, they're not gonna kidnap you.
Right.
They're not trying to harm you in any kind of way most of the time. Of course, you have an element of risk anywhere you go, but you realize that it's actually more dangerous in the United States. I mean, any major American city, I feel like you're much more likely to run into an issue.
Violence of some kind.
Yeah, man. I mean, it can happen anywhere. You know, you could be at Walmart,
Right.
and then you may end up with the limping out of there from a bullet wound or something like that. So it's like traveling. The worries, I found that there's no reason to worry, and I feel safe 99% of the time.
So how do you, like, if safety is a concern, it's a specific safety situation maybe, can you give us an example of how you might mitigate a specific safety concern when you're overseas?
Yeah, it's I think a lot of it is just, you know, when you meet new people and when you get that gut feeling, when you get that intuition about a person that, you know, something's not quite right with this person, or it's like exit stage left. You know, just get I'm able to kind of get a feel for people relatively easy. And if I feel uncomfortable, I don't mind just like, hey, nice to meet you. I'm gonna go over here.
Right.
You know, maybe, and then just common sense things where you don't want to venture off into areas that I would say just, you know, you want to get the lay of the land. In every city, every country, there's always going to be an area where you probably shouldn't go as a foreigner.
Right.
I'm not saying that something will happen, but you just probably shouldn't go. And some people, they'll still go. They'll take that, they'll shake the dice up and roll them. But if I know of something know of an area that I shouldn't go to, or hear about an area, I just don't go. Just I won't even put myself in the situation. So a lot of it to me just kind of seems like common sense. And also I've met people who, you know, they're in other countries and they're looking for things they shouldn't be looking for.
Right.
You know,
right.
And when you start searching for those things that you may get from the underworld, then you come in contact with the underworld. So it's like don't stop. Don't look for it. Don't look for those things.
It's kind of obvious, right?
It's like,
yeah. No, you're totally right. And as you're telling me this, I'm thinking about an acquaintance I knew in Vietnam. He was doing the stuff that you probably shouldn't do anywhere, but at least when he was doing it in the U.S., he knew the people, he knew the environment,
Exactly.
And he was doing those things in Cambodia and Vietnam, and he found himself in a precarious situation, just getting ripped off, getting hurt, getting mugged, basically doing the things he shouldn't have been doing. Illegal stuff, and just whether it be drugs, alcohol, what have you, and falling into that type of situation. Again, he was probably doing that in the U.S., right? But he knew the people, he knew the places. Here, he doesn't. So that's definitely be smart about that.
Be smart about it. Yeah. You know.
Yeah. And you mentioned that you've been to the Philippines, you've been to Thailand, and we're obviously in Da Nang, Vietnam right now, enjoying this beach. What are questions that people that are seeking to be expats in Southeast Asia, in countries that are developing, they're not yet fully developed, what are we not asking? What are they not asking? What questions?
I would say, like for myself personally, before I left South America to come to Asia, and even before I left the U.S. to go to South America, Central America, I'm thinking like Wi-Fi, high speed. It's going to be high speed, just how it is back home in the U.S. But you know, you should definitely ask yourself, or try to find out, is like what level of high speed? Because if you're work like me, you know, I need high speed internet, like not
consistent high speeds.
Yeah, stable, high speed internet. And like for example, in Thailand, I found the high speed internet to be official high speed, like very good, very stable. But then here in Vietnam, it's high speed, but it's high speed down here. So so like even last night, had some issues with the internet. It's like going off and on and off and on. And so I think this overall infrastructure can be a something that you may not be thinking about before you leave to become an expat. When I first got to Panama, even services in the U.S., if someone says I'll be there in at 1:30, they're usually going to be there at 1:30 to fix the dryer, to fix the plumbing, or they'll be there at 1:30. Panama, 3 o'clock, 3:30, and it's and you have to like really adapt to it and not get irritated or frustrated, because for them time is not a big deal how it is to us back home. You know, everyone back home is on the hamster wheel. Everything needs to be done quickly, and we're very impatient. But you have to become more patient, because people are on like an island time kind of vibe. So you know, they're not going to rush to fix your toilet, or I mean, they'll get there when they get there. So you have to kind of like think about those things, you know.
That's so true, man. Just my experiences in Vietnam in general, I think they want to be at X time or whatever they promised to be there at that time. They just can't deliver it. No. I think it's a over promise and under deliver culture in some instances, especially as it comes to time. Even when it comes to hanging out with friends, to meeting for dinner, the locals will come later than the foreigners.
Yeah.
The foreigners will be there on time, while the locals will drag in like half an hour later, 45 minutes, an hour, and not call you and tell you about it.
There's no problem.
Yeah, it's no problem. You've been gone for about 3 years now. What do your friends back home think about your lifestyle, how you move in the world now, and how do you feel about their current lifestyle?
Yeah, you know, most of them, friends and family, they're happy for me. Now, I will say, initially when I left the country, there may have been some shock that I actually left and stayed and didn't come back. But most of them are supportive of it. Even some of them now, a few of my friends and family members are actually thinking about moving themselves now. So they're looking into possibly relocating, and some of them they talk about relocating like they may want to, but it may just be a thought. Then some of them are actually gonna probably follow through with it.
Oh,
you know?
I see. Yeah, some is just talking or thinking about it, and then they change their mind.
Yeah, 'cause I feel like some may, you know, they may have children.
Yeah.
See, I mean, I don't have any children right now, so they have other obligations as well. I spent my birthday in Panama City last year, and man, I had about 20 or 30 family and friends. They all came to hang out with me in Panama. So
that's impressive. That's a lot of people.
Oh man, I was blown away. But they got a chance to, some of them had never been to Panama, and they got a chance to see what I'm seeing, you know, or see what I saw. So that kind of helped move the needle for them a little bit too. Like, wow, they see it, they can experience it. And so it's like a seed was planted, I think, in a few people.
Sure.
Yeah.
That totally makes sense.
Yeah.
It's kind of like they're testing the waters, or the exploratory visit, so to speak, obviously to celebrate your birthday, but for them to kind of experience that too.
For themselves. Yeah.
So how can people find you on social media?
So you can find me under High Def Jones, HIDEF Jones, all together, all one word. I'm on YouTube on High Def Jones, Instagram on High Def Jones also. I think the number one thing is, you know, just be ready to learn a new language. Because if you're going to be in another country, I think it shows a level of respect for the country. It shows that you want to be a part of the community, and locals appreciate it. Even if you make mistakes, it doesn't matter. Just start to learn before you leave. That's what I didn't do. I didn't start learning Spanish until I actually got to Panama, but I wish I had started studying Spanish like after my first trip to visit. I would have at least gotten past just hola and como estas.
Right,
you know,
right.
I mean, so I would say definitely be ready and consider learning their language. Even if you're not fluent, just be able to at least go to a restaurant and order food, because it makes life easier living there too.
Right.
Instead of having your phone doing the Google Translate and you're back and forth, that gets to be a little bit exhausting over time. Learn the language, and also just be comfortable being uncomfortable. Just
Oh, that's a good one.
Embrace it. Embrace all of the challenges, and just know that eventually those challenges will. It's like a plant in the ground, and that water is being poured. And
Right.
You know, and it's like you'll be able to grow like a plant. You'll just grow from the struggles that you have to fight through as an expat, language barriers, being lonely at times. It's all gonna help build you up to be a better person, I believe.
That's so true.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like, I guess we're exercising our travel muscles, like working out, so to speak, where you lift a little more, and the more you lift, the stronger you get over time. And it's a struggle at the beginning, right? Well, thanks for that.
Exactly, man.
Really appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
So make sure you guys follow High Def Jones, all right? Thank you so much for watching. I'm privileged and grateful for your support, and I'll catch you on the next one. Take care. Dude.
That was